Hello security gurus, welcome to this new lecture. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the various job roles for performing the various application security activities in a secure SDLC lifecycle. In the previous lecture, we saw all the application security related activities that are performed in a secure SDLC. Now, it's also important to understand who perform each activity and what job roles are there which are available in an enterprise environment. So let's jump into the action and learn about those job roles. So as we saw in the previous lecture, before application code is implemented, threat modeling is performed. So threat modeling is performed by a security architect or senior security engineer. A security architect will be having at least 5 to 7 years of security domain experience. Similarly, senior security engineer will be having minimum of 5 to 7 years of experience. They will be having knowledge of the application design, the various security activities, how they might be leading a particular security team as well. So such kind of job roles perform threat modeling activities. Also, in an enterprise environment, it is always advisable to have more experience when it comes to threat modeling, because the understanding of the architecture is very important when a security engineer will be performing threat modeling. So this is the first job role that we saw. Let's see the next one. Now, after application code is implemented, secure code review happens. This is also done by senior security engineer or security architect, because in this case, programming knowledge is very important. So you should have good understanding of that programming language in which the application has been implemented. If you are aware about the constructs of that programming language, only then you will be able to perform secure code review. So it's very important in this case. That's why a senior security engineer or a security architect might be performing secure code review. Now I am telling all these job roles from a mid to large enterprise environment. In a startup culture or in a small organization, it's quite possible that a junior employee or a less experienced person might be performing these activities. But I am telling it from a medium to large enterprise environment. Next is IDE scans using security plugins are performed for the code scan. Now this can be done by a DevSecOps engineer, because DevSecOps engineer will be familiar with such kind of automated tools and their plugins. In small organizations, even developers will be running such scans. So it depends from organization to organization, but from medium to large enterprise, DevSecOps engineer will be performing such kind of scans. Then we were performing static code scan using security tools. This was also called static application security testing. Now, this is always performed by a DevSecOps engineer, because they will be knowing how to integrate static application security testing tool and other tools within the DevOps pipeline. So they will be creating DevSecOps pipelines. In the upcoming lectures, we will also learn how a DevSecOps engineer sets up a DevSecOps pipeline and what is this job, as it is a fairly new role that is available in the market. We will understand what kind of requirements are there for such kind of roles. So let's first understand a DevSecOps engineer will be integrating security tools like static application security testing tool in a DevOps pipeline. Then dependency check scans. Now these scans were for identifying security vulnerabilities in third-party libraries. Now this can also be performed by DevSecOps engineer. In some organization, DevOps engineer also perform these integrations. But the issue in those cases is that DevOps engineer won't have understanding of OWASP top 10 and other security activities. They won't be able to understand the results produced by these tools. So it's always advisable to have a security engineer or DevSecOps engineer performing these activities. Then container security scans. These are the scans that we perform to identify security vulnerabilities in containers. Now, a container security engineer is a fairly new role that is available in the market. Container security engineers are also doing these activities. But if it's a small organization, a DevSecOps engineer might be doing it or a developer might be doing it as well. Now, one important thing to understand here is while security engineer might be working, DevOps team will be there to support security engineer or DevSecOps engineer as well in order to help with the infrastructure setup side of it. So these two teams, DevOps team and DevSecOps team or security engineer team, will be working in parallel to set up the infrastructure and run security scans. So we need to understand the security activities will all belong to the security team and the infra related activities will belong to DevOps team. In case the DevOps team does not exist, then in that case, all the activities will belong to DevSecOps teams. Then we were performing pen test activities on API, mobile, web, cloud applications. Now these things are done by pen test or VAPT engineers. Now we will find a lot of jobs in the market related to pen test or VAPT engineers. We will see that as well. Case of pen test engineer, the knowledge of OS top 10, some tools like Burp, Nmap, Zap is important, and also understanding of how to perform reconnaissance and pen test methodology is important. How to create a pen test checklist. These things pen test engineer should be familiar with. Similarly, a VAPT engineer, also called vulnerability assessment pen test engineer. VAPT engineer performs false positive analysis on the identified security vulnerabilities in the application. So we will try to understand what are the requirements for such kind of job roles in the upcoming lectures. But let's just understand for this lecture that these job roles perform these application security activities. After that, once the application code is deployed and is live, we were performing dynamic scans or also called dynamic application security testing. This is again done by pen test or VAPT engineer as they will be running dynamic scans against the application in production. Also, IAST, which is interactive application security testing, is also performed by pen test or VAPT engineer. And finally, the regular pen test, container and infra scans for compliance is also performed by pen test or VAPT engineers. So I wanted to share the various job roles that are there in application security for each phase of your SDLC lifecycle. Now, since we are now familiar with the job roles that are there in an enterprise environment, let's first see some of the jobs that are there in the market. We will also see what are the requirements for those jobs. And then once we understand the various job roles that are available in the market for application security, the various requirements that are asked by the organization from an individual for those job roles, and then we will start learning about those requirements in the upcoming lectures that can help us to get a job as a security engineer in application security. So it's going to be really helpful for beginners as well as experienced individuals. If you are a beginner, then this course will help you to understand where to find a job in application security if you want to move into the security domain. If you are an experienced individual, it will help you to understand how you can progress in your career to the next level, and this course will help you to choose the correct path which is suited for your progress. I hope you are enjoying the information that we have shared you in this course. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lecture.